Hello happy souls, this is my new project Kawasaki KB100 RTC rebuild, and these are all the chapters which I have categorized for this rebuild project. And now we are in chapter 10 with parts buildup, and in that we are in part 9 with wheel assembly. And in this we are going to replace the wheel bearing, and there are many ways to replace. Like you can use a special tool, or you can use a heat gun around the corners, and this is the simplest method which I like because it is simple and cost effective. And this in this the balls are equally placed and locked with the shim at either sides. I am peeling this one end of the shim with the screwdriver, or you can use a tester, and you can push the other end with the tester so that we can get access to the balls now. And then we have to align all the balls to the bottom, and so we get a space at the top. In this we can use a player, or you can use a small uh, screwdriver, and you can hit around the corners so the inner part of the bearing will go at the corner, and now we can get access to the balls now. After doing this we can remove the inner part of the bearing now, and inside it it comes with like spacer. Here the spacer is packed between the two bearings, and it is full of grease. We have to clean it, and you can use a kerosene, or you can use a diesel to wash the entire thing. This is the other end of the shim part which we removed, and inside it plastic part is that to hold the center part of the spacer. And after cleaning all these things we can get access to the other end of the bearing, and this is the one for the spacer which holds the center part of the spacer. And now we can get access to the other end of the bearing with a rod like this, and now we can hit and remove the bearing. Mainly I use a square pipe because it has 4 edges. With the edges we can easily concentrate, and mostly if it is sitting at the outer part of the bearing you have to concentrate at the outer end. If it is sitting at the center, we have to concentrate only at the center part of the that is idea of the bearing. And after hitting in a circular motion we can take the bearing evenly, and one end is removed, and the other end which we started earlier we can remove the with concentrating around the corners. Now we have entirely taken the bearing assembly, and now we can clean it, and we can move on to the front wheel assembly. And this is a rear wheel, and this is the front wheel. Here it is covered with the seal. We can use a player like this, or a screwdriver. And here the difference is here it is locked with this dust cover. In the rear wheel it was missing, so this is like we can take the dust cover, and we can clean and refill the grease packing, and we can put back the dust cover once again. But here it is like fully gone, so first I'm removing the same shim part which is locked in between the bearings. And you can use a player like this, and with a tester push the other end of the shim. And here the balls are not aligning because it is too rusty, so I'm using a screwdriver and a hammer and aligning all the balls at one end so that I get access to the other end. You can use a big screwdriver, or you can use a player to push the center part of the bearing. And while using a rod like this, it shouldn't exceed the length of the bearing. And now we get access to the balls. We can take all these balls, and we can take the inner spacer. This is the inner spacer, plastic part, the shim part, and the spacer. We are doing the same thing as we did for the rear wheel assembly, and we are cleaning, and we are taking every dust inside it, and we can clean the entire part with the diesel inside one. Here you can see the painter has painted the brake drum with paints, and with the same rod I am removing the other end of the bearing. And after removing that, at that end, this is another view for your easy understanding. And now we get access to the other end, and using the same rod to remove the one which we already removed, the inner part of the bearing. And while removing, we have to move it in a circular motion like this, because it will evenly come off, or you could end up breaking with that sometimes. Now we have removed the rear wheel, the front wheel, and we can go to the sprocket assembly now. And talking about the sprocket, whenever you are going to replace this sprocket bearing, we have to change the bearing also. And this is the front part. The bearing number is 6301 CHRS. Whatever it may be the manufacturer, the bearing number won't change, because there is a standard. They have to manufacture the bearing according to the bearing number size. And here it is already checked and it is bought, and you can see the pricing and other details in the unboxing video. Mostly it cost around max up to 120 rupees. Here it is of like same type. Both the bearings are of same type for the left and right of the front wheel assembly. And here it comes with a plastic part for dust cover. The dust cover should face the outer part, and here it comes without the grease packing, so I have grease packed the entire thing. And here it is like a local brand, and I go with SKF bearings mainly. And grease pack everything like this. That is here that is a spacer. It is a rotating component, so inside it the axle bolt pass through, so I'm grease packing everything. And this is the plastic part which holds at the center, so I'm greasing it too. Here this comes in between the two bearing assembly. One end it is already fixed. Now we are inserting the center part of the wheel hub assembly, and now we are putting and locking the spacer with this one. You can see I have packed the entire thing with grease. And some bearings will be used inside the engine, so it comes with without the greasing, because it will be dipped inside the engine oil or the gearbox oil, so it depends. And even if it is like grease packed, it will be in red color, blue color, or even like yellow color. This is a local grease which I bought from a lorry shop. And you can see the spacing. Here it comes with the sealant, and you have to make it in mind that you have to concentrate the outer part. And second thing is length of the bearing, so that how much you have to hit on the corners and other things. Or you can seat these like the seat the sealant like this, and you can check the space between. And then we are going to remove the sprocket bearing. Here at the other end it is locked with a seal, so we don't need to take the seal. If we hit the bearing, it will automatically come. And you can use the spacer collar while removing the rear wheel assembly, or you can use a rod also, and you have to concentrate only around the corners. And this is seal. If it is available, you can put a new seal. Here I'm going to use the same one because it is not available. And while hitting, you can remove the inside bearing. In this, the idea of the bearing differs with the rear wheel idea of the bearing. And this is the rear wheel bearing. The part number is 1S6302 RS. And here the ID of the bearing is same, but the OD differs. And you can see the bearing number is written, and in some cases it will be like laser printed in the bearing corner itself. And this is one bearing. And another one is this one, and the pricing will be like around 120, whatever it may be. Like it won't exceed more than 120 depending upon the manufacturer and the year. It may vary or it may be less. And this is 6202 RS, 6202 RS. And the idea of the bearings are same, and the OD differs. And these also I have grease packed everything. If you want, you can entirely grease every parts, like moving parts. And we can start installing the grease and the bearing now. One end with the bearing, and here it is like we are seating the outer part, so I'm concentrating only on the outer part, and you can hit around the corners like this. Like if you feel it is flat, it is seated properly, or you have doubt, you can use a screw like this and you can hit around the corners. If it goes you can seat it an extra part, or if it is flat you can leave as it is. You have to keep in mind that the length of the seating area, the length of or the thickness of the bearing and other things in mind. Here it is flat, so we are leaving it as it is, and now installing the spacer, which is already grease packed as we did for the front wheel. And now the bearing. Here the dust cover should face the outer side, and if you see here the bearing will be going a bit inside when compared to the outer part. First concentrated around the corners, and after that the seatings are there, so this bearing has to go inside, so I'm using a screw like this and concentrating only around the corners. While doing this, don't damage the plastic dust cover part. It is actually removable and it is serviceable, and at equal interval of times we can't remove the entire bearing, so we can clean it and we can apply grease around the corners. So the dust cover is more important, and you can see the space is a little more. Here something like the sprocket bearing bush will come, and this is the crusher rubber. And if you feel like the clutching is not there, it is time to change the crusher rubber, and the unboxing video is an unboxing chapter. And this is the sprocket bearing, and the number is 6004 RS. This also cost less than 120 rupees, and this is also not grease packed, and the idea of the bearing is bigger when compared to the rear wheel bearing assembly. Grease pack everything like this, and we can start installing the bearing now. And this is a sprocket. Whenever you change the sprocket, it is unnecessary to do like this, and at equal interval of times like 10,000 it is necessary to clean and repack the greasing. And once it is done, we can use the same wheel hub for installing the bearings and the sprocket assembly and other things. Some are using the clamps and other things to hold the sprocket assembly and other things, so this will be a easier method. Once it is done, we can put the sprocket hub assembly to the wheel assembly, and we can start installing the bearing. Here we already know a dust sealant will come, so we can use a screw like this and we can seat the bearing properly to its place. You can even notice a sound, that there is a difference in the sound between the gapped bearing and properly seated bearing. Or if you have a doubt, you can measure the length of the that is thickness of the oil seal, and you can measure the gap. If it is same, that is it is seated properly, or else we have to hit around the corners once again, and you have to seat the bearings properly. While locking the sealant, small tap is required. Don't hit too hard, it may damage the sealant. And then this is the lock nut for the sprocket assembly, and since the parts which are around it also moves, I'm grease packing everything inside it. The axle bolt will come, and so I'm grease packing everything. Like after 10,000 I will take the axle bolts and I will clean everything, and I will put grease on it, and I will load it again, because it will increase the life of the bike. These parts are not available, so we have to take care of it, and it will be like the vehicle will be too smooth and it won't get overheat, and reduces friction, and more reasons to put grease. And after completely greasing every part, we can put the sprocket assembly and everything now. This will come here, and now we can put the bolts. Like this is of square type, so it is like self-locking. We don't need to put the spanner at the other end. Like while buying a sprocket, the sellers and the people are confused with the champion bike, the boxer and the CT100 ones, and this is common with with caliber bike. I don't know, it is a caliber 115 or a normal bike. And while installing, the bolt may fall. At that case, you can make the wheel vertical, and you can see the sprocket hub, and you can then flatten the wheel. And this comes with 6 holes, and the boxer, CT and the champion comes with 4 holes assemblies. And the people who are like 80s and 90s people remember this bike, but now the son or the people who own it are not aware of it. So here, after putting the bolt, we can put the washer plates and then start installing the nuts. Here for the nuts, we have to tighten it with 12 mm spanner, and we have to hand tighten it everything, and then we can tighten it in star pattern or zigzag pattern, or like installing it, tightening in odd number of method. And after tightening, we have to lock the washer plates. While removing this pocket, I have already said about this, and once again I'm saying this. And we have to tighten it because it is a rotating part, it may fall. So to prevent that, these washer plates are bent around the corners. In this case, there are two sides to bend, but here I am bending at one end because we have to use this. Once again, these parts are not available in the market right now, so for futuristic, I'm using one end for the for time being, and I'm saving the other end for the upcoming days. Like most of the companies like TVS, hub is common with Suzuki Max R100 hub is common with TVS, older model Apache one, and Gladiator part is common with Yamaha RX100 parts, some parts. And likewise these Kawasaki KB100 parts is common with Caliber. They commonized, they use the old parts for the new bikes, and so some of the parts will be common. So while getting, you have to check whether it is common with the new part, or you can get any other possibilities. You have to try it. And while installing the sprocket, I have forgot to mention one thing. The number of teeth will be mentioned at the top. That is a direction which we have to install the sprocket, so that we can take a note of it while replacing it. Just we can remove the chain cover, and we can read the details. And that's all for this video. And now it is the wheels are ready. While installing the frame, we can see you, and bye till then.